Well, I'm sure you recognize this lady sitting next to me. She is no stranger to the City Council or to On Watch. This is Jenny Ketchum Kenoyer, and she is running for Modesto City Council District 5. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
This is going to be very interesting.
It's good to be back. I've been here a few times, and this is very enjoyable.
I saw Jenny the other day when we went to a coffee meet and greet with Senator Anthony Cannella, and he was going through his meet and greet information on different initiatives and bills, and Jenny was sitting right in the front row. And I have to say, I think he was kind of winding down when he said one more question, and then he called on you, and it was 1, 2, 3 strikes, and you were batter up. One of those questions that you asked him was about fracking and water use and land use. So let's get right into it. Number one thing you were talking about is farmland preservation. How important is that to Stanislaus County?
Oh, farmland preservation is probably one of the most important things that is so important to us. Agriculture is the base of our economy. What we are is we're an agricultural community. We will always be an agricultural community because we have all the industry that deals that. And I'm really concerned that our council that's there right now is not really concerned about preservation of ag land, because they voted to let a developer go ahead and with taking in 80 acres of prime farmland in North Modesto, when we have 900 acres in the city of Modesto that has water and sewer that is meant strictly for residential. That's 900 acres. Put 5 houses on each acre, you're looking at 4,500 homes. Why? I don't understand why they would allow even the thought of taking one more acre of agricultural farmland.
That was a pretty big bus you just threw everybody under there.
Yes, that's okay. They know it because I've been at every council meeting. I've been at every planning committee, and I have told them I've showed them maps. They know how I feel about this.
Now, how do you think that is going to help you with your campaign? And if elected, there are 3 people who will be going off the council and 3 people staying on. How do you think that relationship is going to work within the council if you find yourself on the seat of District Number 5?
Well, I think part of it is, I think when people realize the importance, and they realize, I've been going door to door. I've talked to over 500 people already in this short time that I've been out. People are really concerned about farm preservation. They do not want Modesto to grow anymore. They want the farmland to stay the way it is. And I think once we have, hopefully we have some kind of a change in dynamics in our city council, and that's why I'm running, because we need that change. I think there's a better chance that you can influence some of your other councilmen to realize that this is what the people want, and that's what we are there for. We're not there for who gives us money or who we're indebted to. We're there for the people of Modesto. That is why I'm running, because I believe in the people of Modesto. I believe we need to be for them what they want, and they want land preservation.
You're talking about the people of Modesto. The guest just before you is 23 years old. I'm not going to ask how old you are, but do you think that the demographics between the 23-year-old and the people that are your age is a good representation of the people of Modesto, or do you see Modesto more like in the middle 40 to 50-year-olds?
Well, I don't know if you could put an age on it. I think what you need to do is you need to put on what they believe in. What do they have to offer? Maybe a 21-year-old has a lot to offer, has something to bring to our table. Maybe someone my age, has, well, I know I do because I have experience. I've lived in Modesto, came here on my 5th birthday. I've lived in Modesto my whole life. I was the first girl cheerleader at Modesto High School. I have been cheering for Modesto ever since. So I think there's a place for both, as long as they're aware of what their responsibility is when they come on the city council. That it's the people. And it's not just the people in their district, it's the entire community, the entire city.
You bring up a very good point, and that is the district elections do include a finite amount of voters, and yet when you sit on the city council, you do have to have the bigger picture in mind. How do you balance the people who actually voted for you and the whole of Modesto? What may not be good for your own district would be for the betterment of the entire whole.
What you really have to look at what's best for Modesto in general. And it's hard, though, for me to believe that there's something that really would be inappropriate for my district compared to the West District. There's different problems in each one, but overall, I think what we have to look for is how we can build up Modesto again. How we can build Modesto to be the all-American city. I remember it when I was growing up here. It can be. It will be that again. We have to work together. And I think we can't put the West against the East. I think we have to look at the whole picture and say, what is best for Modesto? What is best overall for Modesto?
Please take a few minutes, because I have only been in Modesto about 26 or 27 years. So according to some people, I'm not from around here, and I'm just a newbie. I don't know anything. So take about 2 or 3 minutes and tell the viewers what Modesto used to be like when it was the all-American city.
Well, the thing I remember about Modesto was the downtown. I mean, downtown was everything. You know, the stores might not have been open on Sunday, but we went downtown. We dressed up, we walked downtown, there were restaurants that were open, we would drop in, we'd just window shop. It was, it was really important. It was kind of, I got to, ride, drag. Well, we drove 10th Street because my age, they didn't have, McHenry was there, but it wasn't long enough to drag. It was 10th Street. But there was just, everybody was proud of Modesto. And I think that we need to get that pride back. The thing that bothers me is that people don't look at downtown Modesto as being anything but deteriorating, and we need to build it up again. And once downtown Modesto is similar to what it was when I grew up, then you're going to find a total different outlook as far as the people, how they feel about Modesto.
I know that the 1% sales tax is really being pushed hard right now by the city and some other advocates for it. How do you feel on the November ballot? What box will you be checking for the 1%?
Well, I've been very involved in the city council, even though I'm not a member. I go to every single meeting. I go to all the finance meetings. I feel like I really need to know, even though I'm not there. Sometimes they kid and say, you're here so much, we ought to give you an office. Because I go to finance meetings, to the development meetings, to all of them, because it's important. I went to the finance meeting, the last one I went to, because I said, I need to know how you're running, what you're doing with our money. I want to know how each department is running. What have you done to cut down on it? And they actually gave us a spreadsheet of exactly what each department spends its money on and what revenue they get. And there are some departments that can generate their own revenue. Of course, the biggest hunk is the firemen and the police, the safety. That's like 70 to 75% of our budget goes to them. And they don't, of course, do any revenue. But they have taken, our budget this year is $19 million less than last year. I don't think people are aware of that. No, 13, pardon me. It's $13 million less than the last year. In the last 4 years, they have reduced the staff at city by 228 people. Some of that, I realize, went to private, they've outsourced some of our things. The city employees have not received a cost of living raise for 6 years. So I really believe that, in my heart, from what I've seen and what they've told me, that I think the city has worked hard to balance the budget. Unfortunately, I think we had a lot of money, like in 2004, it crashed. We've been using our reserve to balance our budget. That's why people say, oh, we have a balanced budget. Yeah, it's because we use our reserve. Our reserve is almost gone. The only way we can get money is from sales tax, property tax, and building permits. And when we send our dollar off to Sacramento for our property tax, we get 7 cents back. And of course, the 7 cents even got less because of because the housing market went down. People aren't buying things, so our sales tax is down. They only pulled 12 permits last year for building. So we can't, like I kidded, and I said, well, we can't go to another city and ask for a part-time job for the city of Modesto. There's no other way to get revenue. Right now, it's only for 6 years. There's a sunset, it'll end. They can't continue it, but they need, when we get this money, we're not gonna have it after 6 years. They need to be prudent in how they use this money.
I was watching one of the city council meetings on the replay, which you can find at the Modesto City, I think, .gov website. And one of the people who was supporting the 1% sales tax said that they should implement it for 10 years. What is your opinion about that?
Well, I think that's a little too far. I think that I honestly believe, like, in 4 to 5 years, we're going to see a turnaround in our economy all over Modesto. Of course, the valley's always short. I think I wouldn't be for 10 years. I wouldn't be for 4 years. That's not long enough. I think 6 years is a good compromise.
How much of the city budget is going, you were saying 75% to public safety? How much of that percentage is going to the pensions of the retired officers?
I should have really looked into that. I don't know. Somebody asked me that, and I really need to find that out.
We'll have you back before November, so.
Good, I will know. I think that's a really important thing, because I'll tell you one thing. The city employees now, apparently they didn't before, do put in money into their own pension. Mm-hmm. They've been doing it for the last few years, because so they do. Somebody asked me, I work for the county. I put money into my pension. I don't know if they aren't. If they aren't, and we're in problem, maybe they need to step up to the plate and help us. I mean, I'm not afraid to say that.
I think that you are not. We have a few more minutes left, and I would like to talk to you about your walking piece in just a moment. Here you are running the half marathon, which is great, and you have a son who served in Iraq, is that correct?
And twice in Afghanistan once.
So we'll talk about that in just a moment. I'll hold it up here so people can take a look at it. You are also an advocate for seniors in this area, and I know that that's near and dear to you. That's actually how I met you a few years ago. You were on a radio show with former Mayor Sabatino, and you were talking about that. And I was drawn to you like a miller to a flame. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, actually, that's kind of how I got involved in all of this. Was in 2008. We found out that there were 5,500 seniors and disabled that couldn't get out of their home, and they needed some kind of transportation, which we did not have. So when I put my mind to something and I see that there's a solution, and there was a solution, it took 2.5 years of convincing people that there's this need. They always say there's no money, but there is money. There is money, you can find it. And so consequently, I worked hard. For 2.5 years, I went to every StanCog meeting, and all the meetings I went to. Then I got really involved. So I got this program. So it's called the Bridges Program for the seniors, and it helps people that need rides from inside their house to outside their house. But anyhow, I believe in 1972, I got the canals fenced because I was concerned about young children going by, and so I sent in petitions that I got signed, and they fenced the canals because that's what I said needed to be done. I'm a doer, and when I put my mind to something and I see a solution, I will not let up until I see that implemented.
Where can we find you on Facebook besides canvassing District 5?
And which I do every single day. I'm out there every day knocking on doors. It's Jenny Ketchum Kenoyer for Jenny Ketchum Kenoyer for City Council Modesto City Council. Jenny
Great.
Ketchum Kenoyer for Modesto City Council.
Okay, so we will check that out and like it on Facebook. Thank you very much for joining me this evening. Can I keep these here?
You may,
okay.
yes, you may
Okay,
keep,
we'll take some pictures of
you
those
may
and put
keep
them on
them,
Facebook.
and it's always
so.
enjoyable. I always
Oh,
love being on your
Thanks.
program.
Well, thank you very much, and I love having you here. It's a wealth of information. It seems like everywhere I go to report on something, Jenny's there. So,
That's true.
And you hold their feet to the fire. Let me tell you, in the front row.
I love being in the front row. I think that's important. Got to be in the front row. They got to see you.
Well,
Anyhow, I'm
thanks.
short. I got to sit in the back.
Thanks, Jenny.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Athens.